Hello, and thank you for joining me. I am Krista Snow, coming to you from El Paso, Texas, right here on the border. 2 years ago, I decided to create a podcast of mini-series focused on outliers and the unique journeys we walk, because truly, we need each other. I've built a collective to dive into a variety of topics from healing and relationships to business advice and neurodivergence. My commitment to you is to bring you integrity and high quality, because I believe in people and their potential. So without further ado, welcome to this space where you can join the collective as we listen, learn the flip side, and ultimately level up our lives together. I'll be your host, and you're listening to the Level Up Podcast. Welcome back to the Level Up Podcast. Melissa and I are here today to talk about a very heavy issue, narcissism. So before we get into it, we'll do high-low. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
So my low was waking up today with a migraine. My high was getting rid of that migraine. Finding myself pretty energized from that. So it's exciting.
That is exciting and just in time.
Yes.
For our episode. So my high would be, it's my dad's and my sister's birthday today. She was born on his 25th birthday. So when she turned 25, he turned 50. When she turned 50 last year, he turned 75. I remember him joking when she turned 25. He was like, "You're half a century and I'm a quarter of a century." And she was like, "No, Dad. No, Dad, it's the reverse." And so I think it's the coolest thing. They have a birthday on the same day, and then we're seeing my dad's family tonight. And we don't get to see each other very often. So that's my high for sure. And my low is just allergy flare up and this twisted vertebrae in my back. There's been an ongoing issue since May. So there's my high low.
Well, happy birthday to your dad and sister. And girl, I'm praying for that twisted vertebrae. Oof, that's not fun.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Definitely need it. So narcissism. I think I can encapsulate like the experience of talking to a narcissist and trying to address an issue as this. It didn't happen. And if it did happen, it wasn't my fault. And if it was my fault, I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
And if I did mean to do it, you made me do it. And that hamster wheel, that vicious cycle that of their deflection of their action, trying to pinpoint you and make you feel bad for feeling the way that you do about their bad behavior. That is the definition of manipulation. Yeah. Making someone else feel bad for their reaction to your disrespect. And I really experienced that with narcissism and the relationship, that I was in with a narcissist. And so last night when I saw this reel that I sent you, Melissa, and it was talking about Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly, who've been together since like 2020, and they've been in this tumultuous relationship. I haven't really followed that, but I remember when they got together because I was in my relationship at the time trying to figure out why I had this crazy connection with this person. And it was like, the situation wasn't good because there had been cheating. And yet at the same time, it was like this weird connection where it was like, I can't let him go. And so I remember them talking about each other like that and deep diving this whole twin soul, twin flame, ideology. And it's fascinating, but they were in it. Maybe they are in it. I was in it. And so even then I saw the connection that they had that also seemed off, like my relationship, because, there's issues. Well, it's this hidden toxic cycle of like emotional highs and devastating lows. And so this person was talking about their relationship and how it's ended. After apparently he cheated on Thanksgiving, she's pregnant with their child, and now it's done skis. But it's ended like 87 times already. So I saw that reel and I didn't know that they had even gotten married or whatever. And I was like, oh, wow. Like I saw it. I saw back then what I didn't realize in myself as well, like the obsessive, too perfect, like fantasy of that, of a trauma bond. And,
Mm-hmm.
and so he was explaining how, there's no diagnosis for all this stuff or whatever, but he was explaining how the behavior that they have with each other and the things that he's seen is the depiction of a trauma bond. And he broke it down to three things I told you. They break you and they fix you.
Yeah.
And the better version trap, number two, like they're only a good person. They are a good person, only sometimes bad. And then number three, the healing and the harm come from the same person. And he ended it by saying, love should not break you into pieces. It just set me into this spiral of remembering the situation. And when I was in it, it was very hard to see what was happening. And the trauma bond is a real thing. So what are your thoughts? I want to say one thing you told me that I'll never forget. No healthy relationship should beg to be loved.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was something that that my pastor said in the middle of a sermon. Yeah. And it was so impactful for me to hear that because I think that, I know, I have spent my life chasing that, like begging, love me, love me, love me, love me. And
needing the validation.
Yeah. And I don't need that anymore. I mean, I get that from God. I get that from myself. And that's the most important place to get it, So yeah, I watched that clip or the video that you sent, and I just remember sitting there and I'm like in the middle of this thing where it's like I almost talk myself out of um I talk myself out of the abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so ridiculous.
Like justifying
Yeah.
behavior, like feeling like I still did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was my fault and maybe I'm being too hard.
Yeah, like he's not a bad guy. It's my fault that he reacted this way to me, or,
Because this is how I made him feel.
Yeah. And I mean, and don't get me wrong, like I was not perfect in my marriage. I had a lot of trauma that I hadn't dealt with and I get that and I take full ownership of it. And when I started my, my healing journey and my therapy and stuff, it was because I wanted to, if I ever found someone that I wanted to marry, I wanted to be able to marry them knowing that I was showing up as the best version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just been so much growth from that, but despite all of that, despite all of my trauma, did I deserve a man who couldn't be faithful? No, nobody deserves that. Is it right to make your partner feel like they have to hide in a closet, crouch on the floor, and beg God to kill them because being dead is better than being with you?
Right.
No. And I found myself in that position so many times, and I have children, and that's painful and hurtful. And I think, but I mean, I was genuinely in a place where I thought my kids would be better off without me.
Right. You feel like people would be better off if you're not around because you feel like you're the cause, the common denominator.
Yeah.
Of problems you no longer can fix because you feel destroyed.
Yeah. And, and then like the biggest thing I remember, well, not the biggest thing, but the thing that I hold on to and I remember, there's a few things, but one of the things I hold on to and I remember, and I use this to tell myself, no, you're not crazy, Melissa, is my daughter was so rude to me one day. And it was like in front of her entire swim team, the parents. her coach, her father, we're all standing there and she's flat out disrespectful to me and just so rude. And I would have never spoken to my mom the way that she spoke to me. And this wasn't a random thing. This is something that happened quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned to my husband, or my ex-husband now, and I looked at him and I'm like, are you going to help me here? And he looks at me and he goes, are you on your period?
Oh.
No. My reaction here is not because I'm on my period. And even if I was, I'm justified. Our daughter cannot speak to me this way. And I just looked at him and I started crying and I walked away. And do you know what happened? Her coach, my daughter's swim coach, saw that and went to my daughter, pulled her aside and said, you cannot talk to your mother like that, and made her do laps.
I love that.
Me too.
Because it was not okay.
Absolutely not okay. Her dad should have been the one to do that.
Yes.
Not her coach. And her dad sitting there making me the problem because I'm a female and I have a menstrual cycle. So I'm the problem. Never okay.
Yeah. And it wasn't about you at all. It was only about the fact that it doesn't matter who it is that he's talking to. He doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to stand up and be bad cop to his kid because he doesn't want to do that. He'd rather be good cop all the time and let you suffer because as an empath, you will just pick up the slack. And so it's easier to turn it around on you because there's no way he can explain away the fact that he should have stood up for you. And I observed this in my parents, and I remember telling them recently, I was like, we were not allowed to try to pit you guys against each other. Like, you know, when my dad has only raised his voice at me one time in my entire life, and it wasn't even yelling. It was just fierce. And it was because I disrespected my mother and I made her cry. And he came into my room with fire in his eyes. I remember being in college and I had yelled at her. I don't remember. I was mean to my mom because, like, I don't know. She homeschooled us, so we were around her all the time. So we didn't disrespect our father like we felt like we could disrespect our mother. And he stepped up to bat for her when necessary. Even as an adult in college, he came into my room with fire in his eyes. And he was like, you will not disrespect my wife in this house. You live here. You are under my roof. You will not disrespect your mother that way. You will not make her cry and talk to her like that. It is not okay. And I never did it again because that's all it took is my dad to stand up for her and say something just like he always did. Like if we got too much to handle, we were homeschooled, my brother and I, if we got too much to handle, she would call my dad at work and he would leave work and come home. To deal with the situation. That is a partnership that is important because you have to have each other's backs in moments like that for teaching moments, because it's not about either of you. It is about the fact that your child needs to understand respect and authority, because if you don't teach them, they're going to get a hard hit from the world as an adult. Learning all of the things that you didn't do. When you don't teach them to respect authority, when you teach them to expect things to be handed to them and not the value of hard work, you know, it's a partnership in marriage. Yeah. But a narcissist doesn't care about the partnership. They care about themselves.
Exactly. And you know what's beautiful too in that story that you shared, and you touched on it, is it's so loving to your mom, but it's loving to you because it is, like you said, it's teaching you.
It didn't feel good.
No, but it shows how much he actually cared about you.
Absolutely.
and that's beautiful. I love that. That's such a good story. Yeah, it's funny how, and I'm sure you have felt this, but it's funny how, or not funny, haha, but like interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
How being with a narcissist, especially for so long, because I was married to that man for 12 years, and it just completely changes your brain.
Yeah.
Just everything. And I watched a thing which, oh, I loved this little thing. I loved it so much I downloaded it to my phone, but it talks about how when you're in that type of a relationship, you're dealing with like so much anxiety. It's the amount of anxiety that is even too much for three people to handle.
Mm-hmm.
And living like that for so long, the stress and the damage it does, not only to your mind, but to your body. Uh, and that really hit me really hard. And it was then that I realized, like, I think I was thinking in my head when I left my husband, I think I was thinking, well, I have to heal my childhood to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And not really thinking, oh, wait, there's healing I need to do from this marriage too.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so, yeah. And so it was like, I kind of just for a while, just kind of focused on just healing that childhood trauma.
So why did you think that though? Like, why did you pinpoint childhood being where you needed to grow, not the marriage part?
I think
Like,
it
were
was,
you in therapy or what were you learning that made you think and realize? Because obviously I realized the same thing as far as childhood. Like, oh, I didn't even know I had trauma in ways that I have trauma. And
yeah,
trauma sounds so dramatic, right? But it shouldn't, because what happens between 0 and 18 affects you for the rest of your life.
rest of your life. Absolutely.
And so, like, I always said, I had a perfect childhood. Like, I had an
Mm,
amazing example of godly parents and a great marriage and a family depicting the same type of thing as well. But I didn't even consider the things that I felt or whatever, because obviously you have feelings in childhood and you just push them down and excuse them because you feel like you shouldn't feel like that because you're a kid, maybe.
mm,
And when you're an adult, at some point you realize, oh, I do have childhood trauma. So,
mhm.
like, what made you think that you need to fix your childhood trauma and not realize the relationship needed to be fixed? Because I was the flip side. I was the flip when I left my relationship. I was like, oh, this has traumatized me. I'm destroyed physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. And I hadn't even realized at that point that I had childhood trauma.
Mm. So I knew I had childhood trauma. When I was 5, my brother was murdered and I witnessed it. So I knew. So I was looking at the root of the issue, not the growth from the root,
So, because
so
of
to
your
speak.
childhood experience, like, you have been fully aware of childhood trauma, that also
Hmm.
also almost makes you want to blame childhood trauma
On everything.
on everything, because if you're in a relationship and you feel like you're hurting that relationship because of this childhood trauma, it
Mhm.
creates this like belief in your
Yeah.
mind that I was the problem coming in.
Yeah. And he used to do that too. He used that against me all the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's what narcs do. They take your biggest fears, your worst, like when I
Mhm.
got in trouble with the law for drinking and driving, I remember my ex told me, your parents will never accept you or be proud of you again. You're gonna ruin your career for this mistake of a DUI. I remember that so vividly because that is exactly what my deepest
Your fears
fear
were.
was. And
Yeah.
he used that against me. But because it hurt me so bad, I didn't see what he was doing,
Yeah.
much
It's like
less
they know how
address
to
it.
read our minds. Maybe
Well,
it's written
yes,
on our
because that's how the
faces.
trauma bond is created. A
Yeah.
narcissist sees the gaps in you and the validation that's needed. So I always wanted marriage, you know, I wanted homeboy to show up. I just wanted happily ever after and kids and house and white picket fence and homeschool my kids. Like I had this whole dream, right? And I never got it. And then my career took off and climbed up the success ladder. And when I met him, my career, I had just resigned for a job for a job that fell through. So I was at a low of like, OMG. And then my car broke down, my engine seized, and I lost my car. Like, just like that. Like, it was crazy. All of these things happening. And so he used that need in me and the previous desires throughout the relationship to make me feel good. So he knew, based on the fact that I longed for a relationship and I would react, you know, if he acted in a certain way that made me feel like seen and loved in a way I hadn't before, he saw that in my reaction. So he knows that is what I have issues with. I want to feel loved. I want to feel seen. I want to feel accepted. I miss my family or whatever. So he fills those gaps in the relationship by being what you need in deep ways. And then 98% of the time does whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Because as long as they can validate you for those deep needs that you're probably not even aware of, they may be doing it subconsciously. But when they see your eyes light up in reaction to something they do, or you say, really? When they tell you you're attractive, you know, like, really? Tell me more. You know, when you react in those ways, they see the validation that you need in that way. So as long as they provide that, it can hook you.
Yeah.
And if you're not healthy, then you need the validation enough to accept abuse. And if you are healthy, you're approaching it as, this is what I bring to the table, not what can you give me? This is how you make me feel.
Yeah.
And now I walk in whole. I am good. I'm not marrying someone unless they exponentially multiply what I can do on my own.
Yeah, they've got to add to it.
I reached a point where I told my narc ex, I was like, relationships are supposed to add to each other's life. This is what I have done for you. This is what you have done for me. These are all good things that I've done for you. What you have done for me has not even left you at a neutral zero status, like not adding, taking away from my life. You're just there. No, you've now reached a point where you were literally taking away from my life because it's harder to have you in it than be alone. And it was like talking to a wall.
Yeah.
Because he would act sorry only to validate me. And then when I no longer needed his validation, I wanted changed behavior, no longer words. I don't want to hear I'm sorry anymore. You don't seem sorry. So act like you're sorry and level up or go away. And he chose to walk away.
Yeah.
And so that cycle that you get caught in is because of the needs that we have as kids. And then you get in a relationship with someone and you fill each other's validation needs or whatever. But when you get in a relationship with a narc, they will see that and then they will take advantage of it. And it's no longer just this give and take, because unhealthy people can be in relationships with each other and you figure it out together because you do both have empathy, you care. But with a narcissist, they are fully selfish. So they will target an empath because the average person with a healthy level of self-love is not going to let themselves be taken advantage of. But an empath will, because an empath is willing to give of themselves even to the point that they're destroyed, because their main goal is to help other people before they help themselves. Healthy love is you have to fill your own cup to be present, healthy. And so narcissists, fully selfish with no empathy, will only target empaths. And that's where you get caught up in the cycle, because unless you say no, like other girls that said no to him, like, what? Get out of
Yeah.
here. You're not going to treat me this way. And I'm like, I'm the one that's forgiving him. And I believe in forgiveness and second chances. What I wasn't realizing was he wasn't changing. And so those girls that cut him out, that I was like almost judgy of, because I'm like, I don't ever want to be like that, like tell my man what to do type of thing. I also realized, no, it's not that now. Like, I realize it's not that. It is a healthy level of self-love. This is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what you've agreed to. If you're not going to do that, that's not okay. Don't deflect and bring it on me. I'm not crazy for addressing the situation. And until you start being able to address a narc like that, instead of defending yourself, and you'll never be able to win when you're just trying to defend yourself for behavior that's normal. When you are no longer trying to defend yourself, you're just saying, no, this is not okay. This is not what I do to you. Here's the evidence of that. Why are you thinking that this is okay? And if you think that that's okay, I don't want to be with you.
Yeah. I will never forget when I left my ex-husband, and he's making every excuse in the book. I'm like, we need to get this divorce going. He's making every excuse in the book. Like, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, at first I was thinking like, oh yeah, like I get it. He's tired. He works so hard. Okay. And then finally it got to the point where I was like, no, enough is enough. Like, I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not coming back. And it took
set the boundary.
Yeah. It took his ex though to point it out to me. I was on the phone with her after having literally driven this man to his attorney's office because he was so tired and he couldn't do it. So I drove him to his attorney's office, and I'm on the phone with his ex, the mother of his sons, who he got out of an 8-year relationship with, and then the next day was in a relationship with me. She and I were talking. Oh, wow. And I remember being on the phone with her, and she told me, she's like, do you know what a narcissist is? And I had never heard that term before. And so she and I started talking, and she's like, these are the things I realized after being with him. And she goes, and I feel so horrible because I saw the things that he was doing to you, and I wanted to warn you, but I also knew that you wouldn't listen to me because I was the ex-wife, and I could only imagine the things that he was telling you about me. And so then we had like this conversation, and I'm sitting there telling her the things that he told me, and I'm realizing as she's telling me her side of the story, this man was literally telling me and showing me every red flag in the book, and I just blew right through them. Oh, you poor man. Mm-hmm. Oh, she won't let you see your kids. Oh, she put a restraining order against you, and you were never ever violent with her. Oh, you put your hands on her neck because she was throwing stuff at you. That's not what happened.
Right.
And I mean, granted, they say there's 3 sides to every story, right? Mm-hmm. There's your side, their side, and then there's what actually happened. Yeah. So,
my side, your side, and the truth.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, so, I mean, like, even then I look at it and I'm like, I may not know, I may not have the full story, but the things that he was saying to me, and the fact that I saw him get served with restraining order papers, and I remember that feeling in my gut when I saw that, and the fear and my brain going, this is not good. This is not good. Mm-hmm. But I stayed.
Mm-hmm. Because you wanted the relationship more than you wanted to be treated right.
Yep. Exactly. And it's sad that it took 12 years for me to finally stand up. And And I don't even know that I fully realized too. Cause I mean, especially like her going, do you know what a narcissist is?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
And you didn't know?
I didn't know. I'd never heard that term before.
So how did she explain it to you?
She sent me a video.
Okay.
I don't even know if I still have access to that video, but it
What do
talked
you
about the
remember from
five
it?
different. Well, I remember it talking about the 5 different types of narcissism. Um, Gosh, it's been so
Oh,
long. I
really?
don't even
I didn't
know.
even know there were 5 different types.
Yeah, we might have to look into this.
Yes, interesting.
And yeah,
Okay, and then?
I I remember watching it and going, why is he all types?
Mm.
And I remember going, but then I also remember, oh, but I'm the reason that he acts this way.
Mm-hmm. You
I'm
made
the
him do it.
reason. Yeah. And I remember then,
Triggered him.
exactly. And I remember getting into therapy a couple years later and telling that to my therapist. And she goes, I can tell you right now, you're not a narcissist. And I go, what do you mean? And she goes, no narcissist thinks they're a narcissist.
That's hilarious. I asked my therapist at one point, like, am I the crazy one? And Sarah was like, honey, you are not crazy. No one who is crazy wonders if they're crazy. I have done this for a very long time. I am not a spring chicken young. I can tell you, you are fine. You are not crazy.
Yes. So much freedom in those words. I mean, she said that and
Yeah,
it was
like I only half believed it, but I was like, oh, thank God. Okay. Because I do
right?
trust her.
Yes. And I've had to tell that to myself and hear her say that
Yes.
because there's so many times I do still fall back and go, I'm the problem. It's me.
Yeah.
And
You know
start
what's,
singing Taylor Swift to myself.
oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Well, the healing journey starts with that. I'm the problem. It's me. Because before that, you're just like, no, everybody else is the problem. I know I need to change some stuff. But like, healing journey is like, no, actually, you're the problem. And you don't even know how you're the problem. So you want to find out?
Hi, it's me.
Yeah. It's not fun at all, but it is so freeing.
It is.
And you know what's interesting is that story you told because after my ex and I broke up, he moved to a different city and he got into a new relationship semi-fast and well,
That's what
like
they
super
do.
fast. And I remember my family and I had gone to Wet and Wild, this water park here, and I was standing in line with my mom waiting for one of the rides. And I was like, so he's in a relationship. And she was like, how'd you find out? And I was like, I don't remember how. Someone had told me or sent me a screenshot or something, whatever. It was because like he was blocked on all forums for sure. And so I was struggling with it emotionally because I was just like, it hurts. It hurts. And it was very quick. And it's not like I wanted him, but it still hurt. And then I told my mom, the thing is, she has no idea what she's walking into, but I cannot tell her because just like I didn't listen to people telling me, she will not listen to me because I am the ex and he will be able to explain it away. I already know how he will because he did it with me when my friend told me that he was talking to one of her friends. And this is when him and I were together. And she didn't give me any like proof or evidence or whatever. It was just one of those like things. She was like, it's like, he's been talking to her. And my friend told me, so I think you need to know. So because there was no like proof or whatever, I didn't know if it was true. And I take things with a grain of salt. And so they didn't really like each other. So that was another factor. And then he explained, I told him what she said, and he explained it all away in a way that made sense. It didn't, I was like, I mean, I don't know. But it sounded good. His explanation sounded good. And her and I stopped talking because I chose to listen to him over my own friends.
Yeah.
And looking back on that, things would have played out much differently, first of all, being healthy, walking into that kind of thing. But I chose someone who wasn't choosing me in return over the people who were willing to choose me, because he made me feel better in that romantic way. And nothing else compares to that when you have a very deep need for validation in that way. And that's what he did for me. And so I told my mom, there's no way I could tell this girl anything, because I would want someone to warn me. But, oh, wait, someone did. And I didn't believe them. And all it will do is make me look bad. She will have to learn on her own, because I can't say anything.
No.
And that's a really hard place to be, because you know they're going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
And they're no longer together, but they were up and down for years. 3 years. And it's over. And it's really sad, because if someone is healthy and gets a warning, they will take it with wisdom. But you can't assess that kind of thing coming out of a situation like I did. And it was so soon that all it would look like I was doing was trying to get him back or something.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to hurt him. All I wanted to do was let her know.
Yeah.
Because she had a child. And that adds a whole nother element to the situation to me. When you involve a child, like, I didn't want her to be hurt and abandoned and destroyed and cheated on and abused like I was. But there was nothing I could do to stop it. And that's hard.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that, because I'm finding myself walking that now. So, my ex is in a relationship now. He's been in it for a while, but it's really just come to the point where it's touched my life now, because my kids have met her. And I've had this thought in the back of my mind, like, I should reach out to her and I should let her know. But I can only imagine all of the terrible things that he's told her about me. Exactly. I know the terrible things he told people, our friends, about me. It got back to me at one point. And
I remember how my ex talked about his exes, like you say. Like,
exactly.
He made them seem like they were the crazy, and they were the crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and finally, I just had to tell myself, you could tell her until you're blue in the face. It won't matter. You're the crazy one. He'll explain it all away.
Yeah.
And it's so hard thinking about another woman being in that position with that person. It's so hard. But I guess all I can do, and I should do, because I haven't been doing it, but now I will, because now it's on my mind. It's like, oh, I should be praying for her. I'm going to pray for her.
It's a very good point. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that at the time.
Yeah, me neither.
But when there's nothing else you can do, that is what you can do.
I can. I absolutely can pray. And I will. Yeah. I'll add her to my prayer list, and
well,
it's the most powerful thing I can do, right?
Yes. Yeah. Prayer and love cover all. So that's our time for this episode. And I don't know if this is going to be a multiple part series, because I don't think we're done. But we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Level Up Podcast. And the squad wants you to know that we're here to help. Feel free to email us at leveluppodcastsquad@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, we would love to hear from you. God bless, and we'll see you next time here on Level Up.